What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. It's Friday. Is it a payday Friday? I don't think it's a payday Friday. That would have been nice. But you know what? It's Friday. The weekend's here. Football's around the corner. And I got a long week off. I'm excited, man. That's all I know. We got a lot to talk about in this video. We're going to do a little XRP TA. Towards the end, I'm going to break down the chart, let you know what we're looking at if we were to head down even more, if we're expecting a rebound or not. Look, at some point, the markets are going to rebound. We're going to get an alt season. It all depends. How high is Bitcoin going to go? Where is that rebound going to come in? There is a lot of resistance sitting above. We'll break it all down though. Should you be worried? Should you be nervous? Your portfolio might be in the red. It might not be. You know what? It is what it is. We have a lot of catalysts. We have a lot of ETFs. I told you at some point, 90% of this market was going to be nuked. I told you you'd be in a good spot if the crypto that you were looking at, you had interest in, had an ETF, because that is where the money is going to be rotated. Without further ado, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump on into it. Bitcoin coming in at a mean lean $83,907. It's currently down 8.6%. ETH not looking so good. Coming in at 2,744. It is down 9.43%. And XRP, $1.92. It's holding in that area of support, we can call it, which is right around $1.90, $1.99. It stops right at $2 because $2 is a major, I don't want to say reserve level, a major support, or major resistant level. That's the right word I'm looking for. Are we going to rebound? How low is this going to go? Is XRP going back to 20 cents? The answer to that's no. XRP is not going back to 20 cents. I highly, highly, highly doubt XRP breaks $1. If it does, it might be some kind of scam wick that happens like you saw on October 10th. Is XRP going to go up? Are we going to see higher prices this cycle? Yes, we are. How high do we go? Well, that's the $1,000,000 question. We'll talk about it in the TA because we do have some key areas of interest that you should be paying attention to. But what is Rip doing? Rip, are you buying Rip? Are you selling? I'll tell you right now, I am not doing either. I'm not buying and I'm not selling. I am hodling. And that is what you should be doing. Because this is what happens, and I've seen it before. A lot of people are like, oh my God, everyone on Twitter says XRP is going down to $1. I'm going to sell here and buy back at $1. Next thing you know, they sell. It never goes to $1 and it starts to go back up. And that's it. That's all they wrote, because they don't get back into the asset. They actually took a loss on the asset because their DCA was above $1.92. It just, you know, you just sit on your hands. And at the end of the day, what I tell people, and what's the dead honest truth, is that me and you both know that XRP is worth more than $1.93. Let's just be honest about it. Call it what it is. It is worth more than $1.93. Now, we've been in these situations. We've been in these scenarios. We've seen this before. We've seen XRP get all the way down to $1.50. And let's talk about the $1.50 region. Let's just skip the news for a second. Let's get into TA. Let's talk about the $1.50 region. We've been there before. We've done $1.50 before. Remember back in April on that random ass Sunday where this thing just ripped all the way down to $1.61 from over $2? Who remembers that? It was on a Sunday. I do. And it was a wick. And then who remembers? We'll never forget October 10th where this thing wicked all the way down to $1.40. Could we revisit those regions where this wick was? Well, we have already started at $1.92, right? So this $1.40 to do $1.92, this whole region could be revisited. There is nothing indicating to us that we do not come back down and revisit this spot. Remember, in order to invalidate this bull run on XRP, we need to go all the way back to where it started, which was a year ago. This month, it makes a year. It started right around 50 cents. So for XRP to invalidate this entire move and to go below it, well, you need to see XRP break under 50 cents. Is that going to happen? I don't see it. It's not in my playbook. And if it does happen, I'll be the first one to tell you that I was wrong. So where do we go from here? As you can see, we have a ton of resistance sitting on top of us. We have clearly broken every trend out there. Your targets, as I stated yesterday, will continue to state your $1.90, $1.70, $1.50 region. No reason to talk about targets under $1.50 because those are three major targets that need to get broken to the downside. If they get broken, well, Bitcoin's probably going to be sitting around 60,000 or so. It has to go a lot further down than where it is right now. And if it gets broken, we'll talk about the next targets after that and where it's going to go. But that's where I have my eyes. No reason to keep, talking about 10 targets from now. We talk about 3. We talk about 3 from here. We talk about 3 on the upside. Your upside targets, we can pull up the chart. Very simple. Sitting at 205 to 219 is your first area of interest, followed by 224 to 235. And then followed by 248 to 258. Those are your first 3 areas of interest. But let's hide the support and resistance for a second. Let's remove our drawings. We showed you this box before. This is your Oracle box. Obviously, we need to get above 260 to flip this thing back into the bullish territory on the daily. But we told you, once we get into this thicker green shade down here, this is when you can start to expect your reversal, folks. What did we do? We had a wick to it that happened today, which got all the way down to $1.81. Your now body's back to $1.92. So if I was a betting man, which, I kind of am, I would tell you that it looks like from here, we are going to start to see the reversal. Question is, how high does this reversal take us? That is what we need to pay attention to. With these ETFs, and according to Chad, we'll definitely have 4 by Monday. I have not personally confirmed that we will have 7 by the end of next week. I know Chad said we would. I'll see if I can do some digging and find the listing dates on the other 3. But once we get 7 ETFs up and running, your 30-day countdown clock starts. When your 30 to 60-day countdown clock starts, you can start to expect price appreciation. Is this the bottom for Bitcoin right now? Well, let's just sit back and let's examine it, right? Let's pull up your Bitcoin chart. Let's pull up the XRP to Bitcoin chart because we have a key level in here that we want to make sure we remain above. And the beautiful thing is we are still above it. We wanted to sit above, I believe it was 2100 was the number on this thing. And we are. So the XRP to Bitcoin chart still hasn't broken structure. We could still look at some point next year to get around this 7,000 stat box on the XRP to Bitcoin pairing. What is the price in that? Obviously, we don't know what the price on that is going to be because it goes upon the Bitcoin's price, right? Obviously, the higher Bitcoin price, the higher the price of XRP is going to be. No one said that this cycle was easy. Everyone thought that this cycle was going to be a walk in the park. Why? Because we got ETFs. The institutions are here. The institutions, I'm going to tell you right now, they don't give a crap about you. They don't care. They care about themselves. They have their own interest. They don't care what happens to you, what happens to your portfolio. If anything, they want you out because if you get out, they are going to be able to buy your crypto. Now let's get over to the Bitcoin chart. I can remove the previous drawings that were spot on. Bitcoin is deep, deep down here. It hit 80,000 on a wick. What can we expect from Bitcoin from looking at this chart? We are either breaking into a reversal now. The arrow is not telling you where we're going. I am just simply pointing that the price is going to start moving to the upside. We are going to either make the reversal now or we can possibly come even further down to maybe 76,000. But as you see, when we previously look at our reversal zones here, we don't sit down there, right? We usually tap, we usually get some sort of scam wick that comes, and then we start moving back up. Bitcoin can go all the way back up to about 118 before we get the reversal to the downside. We are waiting for our reversal indicator to kick in on this thing, or it will say strong, letting us know that we have an impulse. What I'm looking at, I'm looking for a little bit of recovery. I'm looking for everything to start breathing again, especially when we get out of here and we look at what Tokyo's doing, right? 30-year bond yield just hit 3.41%. A number that sounds boring, I get it. But you'll understand that it represents a total breakdown of the economic model. Japan owes 230% of its GDP. 230%. For 35 years, they survived by borrowing at basically 0%. Well, that world ended this morning because inflation's hitting 3%. Bond yield is ripping to levels we haven't seen since 1999. And China is making its 25th military incursion near Japanese waters this year. Japan being forced to spend 2% of its GDP on defense, that's nearly 9 trillion yen. When you put that all together, and the Bank of Japan has two choices: raise rates and detonate their own debt, or keep yields suppressed and let inflation torch their entire population. They chose inflation. Door number two, the quiet collapse option. But here's the part that no one is prepared for. For 30 years, global markets were built on one thing: the ability to borrow cheap yen and invest in risk assets worldwide. The carry trade is worth anywhere between 350 billion and 4 trillion. Nobody really knows the real number, right? It's hidden in derivative swaps and shadow books. But when the Japanese system breaks, this money unwinds immediately. Last time we saw an actual glimpse of this, I want you to remember, this was July of 24. Nike dropped 12.4% in one day. Nasdaq dropped 13, and that wasn't well, it was a kind of a preview, right? It was the shaking of the markets. Today was the fault line snapping. This isn't a recession story. This is a regime story. Cheap money is over. And when you cut off the world's liquidity engine, markets reprice everything at once. So what do whales do? Well, they don't hide. They buy assets with real scarcity, real upside, and real escape velocity, which brings us into the $135 billion stimulus. This is the same book you saw in 2020, folks. Same exact book. This kind of stimulus is paired with a broken bond market. It creates the perfect storm for capital flight, and you already know what the liquidity, where that liquidity is going to go: stocks, bonds, and into assets that can be printed. Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, the assets designed to absorb chaos. And that's why all of this is tying together. And that's why we are setting up for a major reversal and a push to the upside. I'm just sitting back, I'm chilling, I'm relaxing. Don't get all crazy. Take a step back. If anything, folks, we're going to be all right. Trust me. I've been here 8 years. I've seen it all. This right here, this is absolutely nothing. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch all y'all on the next one.